conference will now be recorded.
Hey everybody, this is Dr. Doug Smith. It is Monday at 2:30, so it is time for our Monday through Thursday 2:30 podcast. This is the podcast where you will hear the truth and the science about what actually happened to people in this opioid crisis. By the way, let me begin with a word of thank you. We sent chapter 1 of the book out to those people who have signed up to be in the mass tort lawsuit. Asked everybody when they got a chance to read it and tell us what they thought about chapter 1. Help us make it better. And I'm very appreciative of the comments that have come back. Thank you. I've got a lot of respect for our people who have volunteered to be in the first wave of mass tort lawsuits. This is how we're going to turn this opioid crisis around. It's going to take us taking these companies to court because they're making money. Everybody's making money, and money's a powerful force. And when everybody's making money, it's hard to get things changed. Speaking of making money, take a look at the screen in front of you. Okay, this is included in the book. It's actually in chapter 5. Chapter 5 has been submitted to the editors. I just got a call from them a little while ago. They got it, and I am very appreciative to Alex for helping get this uploaded. I'm appreciative of Alex for everything. If anybody out there has any free time, just send Alex a thank you note. People don't realize how hard Alex is working in the background to make the things that we talk about not just a possibility but a reality. All right, so take a look at the screen in front of you. Okay, this is fascinating to me. This is absolutely fascinating. Okay, in chapter 5, we talk in depth about the massive quantity of oxycodone that drove the opioid crisis. Where did it come from? How did it get inside the United States? It was a massive quantity of medically unnecessary oxycodone. Okay, how did that happen? We've got laws on the book to prevent that. Okay, the 80-20 rule is there on the books. It's a law. CFR 1312.13 F and G. I did that from memory, everybody. Hope it's right. We've got laws on the books to prevent there from ever being a massive stockpile of medically unnecessary opioid. Having a massive stockpile of medically unnecessary opioid is a bad idea. Somebody's going to get hurt. And so we've got laws on the book to make sure that never happened. Okay, but that's what drove the opioid crisis, was a massive stockpile of medically unnecessary opioid, mainly oxycodone. And it got into the country courtesy of Johnson & Johnson. Johnson & Johnson in 1995 genetically modified the poppy plant to make no morphine. Okay, in fact, the name of the project was called Norman, stood for no morphine. Okay, and they developed this poppy plant that made no morphine. It only made thebaine, very similar to morphine. It's another opioid, something else that the poppies make. And they grew this plant in Australia, off the coast on an island called Tasmania. And they grew massive quantities. Okay, we estimate in chapter 5 in the book that it was about 200 metric tons. 200 metric tons. 200 metric tons. Metric ton is 2,004.6 pounds. Okay, a metric ton is 1,000 kilos. So it's 2,204 pounds. 2,204.6 pounds. That's what a metric ton is. And so we estimate it was about 200 metric tons of this no morphine, thebaine-rich narcotic raw material that Johnson & Johnson, through its subsidiary Tasmanian Alkaloids, grew on the island of Tasmania and shipped into the United States, where they handed it over to another Johnson & Johnson subsidiary called Normico, who turned it into oxycodone, and the DEA just looked the other way. Okay, the 80-20 rule says 80% of all opioids imported into the United States must originate in either Turkey or India. Okay, last time I looked, Australia was not a part of either Turkey or India. And so to bring in 200 metric tons of thebaine-rich, morphine-poor narcotic raw material into the United States is directly in violation of the law that was protecting us, called the 80-20 rule. Okay, and the way Johnson & Johnson got around this was they convinced the DEA to say that, oh, well, there's no morphine contained in this narcotic raw material, and morphine is how we measure narcotic raw material. That's our yardstick, is morphine. So if it doesn't have any morphine, even though it's immediately converted into oxycodone, it doesn't have any morphine, we don't see it. Total nonsense. That's like saying all blue cars are immune to the speeding limits. It's just absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But that's how we ended up with what's estimated to be 1 million kilos of oxycodone. What drove the opioid crisis? 1 million kilos, okay, of oxycodone. And what you're looking at on the screen in front of you is the supply agreement between, guess who? Normaco and Purdue Pharma. Okay, you're looking at how OxyContin happened. Okay, I don't have a lot of respect for Purdue Pharma. I have no respect for the family, the behind Purdue Pharma. Okay, a bunch of idiots. Okay, they didn't have the ability or the laboratory to genetically modify. You know, the Sacklers could not have genetically modified the poppy plant. The Sacklers could not have gone to Australia and basically, you know, rented the island of Tasmania and grown 200 metric tons of narcotic raw material. Okay, it takes a company like Johnson & Johnson to do that. But what you're looking at the screen in front of you is the supply agreement. And if you look real closely, you'll see that on the left, okay, that's Noramco. That's the Johnson & Johnson company. And they're signing the supply agreement. And there on the right, you see Purdue Pharma signing the supply agreement. Okay, that's how the oxycodone got to Purdue Pharma. That's how the oxycodone got turned into OxyContin. Okay, how did OxyContin get to be so big? Because it had 1 million kilos of oxycodone behind it. 1 million kilos is a lot of kilos. Okay, that's what Johnson & Johnson did for Purdue Pharma. They gave them access to about 1 million kilos of oxycodone. Okay, and 1 million kilos of oxycodone was enough to do the damage. Okay, so if you really want to understand what happened in this opioid crisis, it's in the book. And the amount of supporting evidence that we give is borderline overwhelming. Okay, we're not giving opinion here. That book is full of facts, and it cites the documents, the references. So anyway, I thought this was an interesting graphic. I want to show this to everybody today. All right, we will hold here for today. Everybody have a great day. We will be back tomorrow. Don't forget to like and subscribe us. Don't forget to post this podcast on your social media, everybody else's social media. Don't forget to send a thank you note to Alex. And everybody, we will be back tomorrow. Thank you.